And now it's Boomer Life.
Lifestyle ideas designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete.
Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life
With Stirling Fox.
Well, good evening. Welcome to Boomer Life here on AM 650. The following program is something I've been looking forward to doing for a long time. We're going to talk boating on Boomer Life tonight with a couple of guests from BoatingBC, including its president, Don Prittie. Welcome, Don.
Thanks very much, Stirling.
It's good to have you with us. And one of the many directors is Ian MacPherson. Welcome, Ian.
Well, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you both here. And both our guests are from Vancouver Island. So, Don, tell us a little bit about yourself over there at the Canoe Cove Marina in Victoria.
Well, thank you. Hey, I was born and raised here in Vancouver on the mainland. Grew up in a little place called Copper Cove right next door to Horseshoe Bay.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I started in the marina business when I was 14 years old, and I been hanging around ever since,
now,
pretty much.
If memory serves, we were just talking about this over coffee before we started. You said you worked at Sewell's.
I did. I worked at Sewell's Marina in Horseshoe Bay.
I still rent boats from Sewell's when I go salmon fishing. So you started there at what age?
Age 14.
14, still in high school, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So you've been in the boating biz since you were a teenager?
Virtually all my life, yep.
Okay. When did you establish the Canoe Cove Marina?
Well, I manage the marina for a family that owns it, and it's been, it was there going back to Prohibition days. Rum runners used to run out of Canoe Cove
down
in
to
the
Seattle,
early days.
Down into the Washington State?
Right across the Washington, yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I bet there's some real nice homes in that area, too.
Probably. There are, yeah.
You know, some of the nicest homes in Shaughnessy, in Vancouver, are owned by either railway people or rum runners. We did very well during Prohibition. We had some very fast boats.
We did.
Any of those around still in Victoria?
You know, some of the classic boats that come into Victoria were in the rum running trade back in those days, yes.
And they're fantastic boats.
Oh, they're beautiful.
All wood, too.
That's correct.
So what brought you out of the marina business more front and center onto the public stage as the main guy for BoatingBC, Don?
Well, you know, I've always believed in a strong industry as an industry that people work together and know each other, and BoatingBC, or its predecessor, BC Marine Trades Association, has been going for 57 years, and we've been a member for many, many years, and I just believe it's time to give back. I have the opportunity to do it, and I think I've got a little bit to offer, so I put my name forward to be a director, and then drew the short straw and became the president shortly thereafter.
Well, one of your fellow directors is Ian MacPherson from Nanaimo Yacht Charters and Sailing School and Stone's Boatyard over there on Vancouver Island as well. Welcome, Ian.
Well, thank you very much.
Now, you teach sailing, and I understand there are two schools of sailing, basically internationally, and you teach them both.
We teach them both.
What's the difference between the two?
They're almost the same curriculum, quite honestly. It's just that the CYA, Boating Canada now, has more of a spread in the east, and we concentrate with ISPA mainly on this side of the continent. Yes.
All right. And tell us about Nanaimo Yacht Charters. Tell us about your business.
Well, I can. At the time, I was running a charter operation in Greece, and my parents had immigrated over here, and I got the sad tale one early morning that my father had passed away. So this was a sad tale. My dad was in perfect health, walking along, spotting birds, and he dropped stone dead.
Wow.
So you get this phone call that we all dread. Mm-hmm. And I came out.
And you're half a world away.
And I'm half a world away.
Sure.
So it took 24 hours to get mustered and up here. And I landed in Nanaimo. And, we landed in Vancouver, took the ferry across.
Right.
And I thought, well, what I'd do is just do a little ceremony for my dad. So we chartered a boat from Nanaimo Yacht Charters. And it was one of those perfect February days where I could see Mount Baker, I could see all the way up the strait. It was the most beautiful place I'd ever seen.
Aha.
And here's the thing.
And you hadn't been here before.
And I'd never been here before.
We literally took your breath away.
So I scattered the ashes off the back of the boat.
Right.
And lo and behold, almost a story text, we were surrounded by a pod of orcas.
Really?
We were surrounded by a pod of orcas, and it was almost as though they carried the ashes away. And I thought, my God, this is a sign.
It certainly is.
So I got hold of the company, and I said, we're moving our operation to Vancouver. And that's what brought us here. So eventually brought some boats in from the Caribbean, because I was working for Sunsail at the time, which is a large charter operation. and we brought the boats into Vancouver. And when Sunsail got sold, there was a corporate merger. We brought them all to Nanaimo Yacht Charter. So sorry about the long
No, it's a great story. I love the part about the killer whales and your dad's ashes. That's a remarkable story.
Yeah. And here we are at Nanaimo Yacht Charters with our boats and carrying on the same business that we love so much.
Right, and Stone's Boatyard, part of the enterprise, is a repair facility as well.
It's a repair facility with a large hoist that picks boats out of the water, and we do repairs as well.
And what brought you, Ian, to Boating BC?
Well, I'm from South Africa originally, and we built a boat, okay? And we sailed that off for 10 years. And after all the places that I had seen, this was the most spectacular. I had to be here. I mean, it is unparalleled as far as I'm concerned in beauty and nature. So there you have it.
Wow.
We're here and happy to be here.
The one thing about us, and Don, you're a kid from West Van, so there's nothing we from this part of the world enjoy more than having people from other places come here and tell us how knocked out a place it is to live.
Absolutely, yeah.
So tell us about Boating BC. You said it's been around for 57 years. You're the current president. Ian is one of a member of 8 board of directors. What does Boating BC do?
Well, Boating BC is an association, an industry association, and we promote recreational boating all up and down the province, not just on the saltwater, but in freshwater lakes and the rivers also.
Okay.
We have over 200 members that are involved in all aspects of boating. They could be in the charter business, in the marina business, but they could also be in the boat selling arena, repairs, kayaks, canoes, all kinds of accessories. So very diverse membership, but really all committed to getting people out on the water.
Now, I know the logo, by the way, says Boating BC and a picture of a sailboat, and then the slug line under it is because BC is better on a boat. And not a lot of us who live here, even if we don't own boats, none of us are going to argue that point, are we?
Absolutely not.
It's unassailable. It's true. That's all. Now, what about the boat show, the big one that takes place at BC Place and on the water every year? Is that part of your deal as well?
Yeah, we own the Vancouver International Boat Show.
Oh, you do?
Yes,
okay.
we do.
All right.
And that's a very important part of the business and to introduce new people to boating in British Columbia.
Right.
So yeah, we're very excited about the boat show. It's been a great venue for people to get educated about boats and about how to boat safely and everything like that. And it's just a great opportunity to introduce new Canadians to boating.
Right. Now, Ian, Don was talking just moments ago about boating safely. It's a big part of the boating show, in addition to the merchandise and the deals, because there are some really good deals at Boat Show. Prices, those are pretty attractive. But the education is also a component of Boating BC. And in recent years, not only here in British Columbia, Ian, but right across Canada, rules have changed for boaters. Licenses are now required. Tell us more about that, please.
Well, at the boat show, you can actually write the exam, the PCOC card, which is your personal certificate for being out in the water in a small boat. Everybody over the age of 14 now has to have this card.
A PCOC, by the way, friends, is a pleasure craft operator card.
Exactly.
And anybody running a boat, age what?
14 and over
14.
must have one of these.
Okay.
So you're expected to have these. If you want to go bigger and better, it's advisable to take one of the sailing school courses and learn about it, starting off at competent crew and working your way right through to coastal skipper certificate, which will give you that qualification to charter a boat of your dreams and go off and sail.
Right. You were talking, Don, a moment ago about the fact that Boating BC represents the entire province, not just the saltwater component that those of us who live on the island and here in Metro Vancouver are most familiar with. So stepping back and taking a look at the big picture that is the province of BC, out of all of our boaters in our province, how many of us, roughly, are sailors versus powerboat people?
Well, I'm going to take a guess at probably in the province 60% power and 40% sail.
Right.
Now that is very rough, but that would be, I think, fairly accurate as far as the general number of people on sailing.
And
a lot of sailors that have become powerboaters don't like to admit that.
Now, do sailors become powerboaters, Ian, because it's just a little easier and a little less work to get around and go to the same places you used to do under sail?
Without a doubt. And as you get older, the strenuous pulling up and down sails may lose some of its charm.
Well, this program is called Boomer Life, so you're definitely talking to the right crowd there.
Yeah. But there's some great boomer sailors out there, and I count myself as one of those lucky people.
Well, indeed. Yeah. So with this Pleasure Craft Operator Card, or PCOC, is that required even if you're a sailor?
Yes.
Oh, really? So any watercraft operator of any type over the age of 14 is now required anywhere in Canada to have a license?
Please get one of those cards. You can do it online, or you can do it at your local boat shows. That's it.
I was just telling our guests, I was back in Ontario last summer with my 14-year-old niece screaming around a little lake in cottage country north of Toronto. I kind of looked over, and she's just, the hair's streaming back, and she's on the moon. She's just the happiest kid in the province. And I said, you got a license to operate this thing? Oh, sure. And where did you get it? I got it online.
There you go.
And we're zooming along at 1,000 miles, and she's just wonderful stuff. So at least, though, all of a sudden I can breathe a little bit easier because she's passed some kind of test. Don, what is the test comprised of? What do you have to know to get one of these pleasure craft operator cards?
Well, they'll go through a number of safety requirements as far as the equipment on a boat, all the life jackets and wearing of those appliances, very basic navigation and rules of the road, things like that. Want to pitch in, Ian, any other?
Yeah, I think it gives you an awareness of other people that are on the water as well.
Okay.
And how you should pass them, or which side you should pass
and
them.
who to give way to under what circumstances.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a general background there that people should have before being on the water.
Okay, well, flip the coin and look at the negative side of what happens if you're out there cruising around in whatever watercraft and a gendarme wants to see your license and you don't have one, Don. What's the penalty usually? Besides a stiff talking to, of course.
Yeah, there was quite a time of graduating this in, and now I believe there is a fine. I can't remember exactly what it is, but they take it seriously now. So they're pushing hard to get everybody with the PCOC, unless they're on a rental boat.
Okay, and that's different, and that still is different. And we were talking about Sewell's, where you started working as a kid when you were 14.
Right.
If I go out to Sewell's again this summer, as I'm likely to do a little salmon fishing with my sons, and I don't need a license this year to rent a boat.
No, there's a safety checklist that they will take you through, and to assure them that you have enough knowledge to be out there safely, and you don't have to have your PCOC in order to do that. To rent a boat. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, but you still get checked out.
Oh, it's definitely.
They just don't give you the keys and say, have a nice day.
No, that is correct. Yes. Yeah.
They're not stupid. They are, after all, in business and have been so for a very long time.
That's right.
Talk to us a little bit, Ian, please, about learning to sail. Because it's not like you put the motor in drive and the tiller and everything else is done for you by the propeller. In a sailboat, you have to do certain things to make the thing go even an inch. It's a much different approach to boating.
Yeah, absolutely. So we start at the very beginning with your competent crew ticket. And this basically puts you on a boat and shows you every working part of the boat. And you start going through the regimens of getting the boat moving under sail. A lot of that time is also spent docking and maneuvering, because that's the most stressful part. Mm-hmm. Once you've got somebody taking the boat in and out of the slip without threat, damage, or fear to anybody else's boats.
True.
This is important.
That's right.
So once you've cracked that and you've got them moving this boat and feeling comfortable doing that, the confidence level soars.
Do most people, when they learn to sail, take the lessons approach initially, or do they start out maybe on the lake in a Hobie Cat, improvising and figuring it out for themselves, and then deciding, this is kind of cool, maybe I should go learn how to do it properly? Do they have a little experimenting session first, usually?
They do. We have an introduction to sailing. Most sailing schools will have an intro to sailing. And one of the most popular things booked is your cruise and learn. And you will then take a boat for 5 days or a week with an instructor, with your family, and you're on holiday. And he will teach you while you're on holiday enjoying it, and the family can then take this in and appreciate what's being taught to them, or just chill and not bother to learn anything. But it gives them a wonderful intro to that. And in fact, during that week, you could probably get through your competent crew course doing it. So that really does bring people onto the water, gets them sailing, and there's a huge element of enjoyment on that. And it's family oriented. The whole family's together.
Well, that's it. And I think that's a big appeal of boating, Don. You know, the RV crowd does it in the campgrounds all over the province. So the boaters replicate the experience on the water. The family is together. You spend time together away from the drudgery of work and real life. And in many cases, you can tie up and have a barbecue on land if you want. There are all sorts of options. I think what people in British Columbia appreciate more than anything else is the incredible array of choices we have here.
That's absolutely right. You know, going back to when I was a kid, we would take our boat from Copper Cove, and we'd go around to the backside of Bowen Island, a number of families to get together and have a picnic on the beach.
Sure, yeah.
And, you know, we'd swim or we'd water ski or whatever, but it was just an opportunity for us all to be away and join with other families. It was just great. It was just magical, really, and it still is. You can get to any number of bays or inlets in BC on the saltwater side, or any number of lakes up in the interior that are just spectacular.
We need to take a break here, but Ian, just to continue this thought, you're in the charter business, so you deal with visitors to British Columbia routinely.
Yes.
How many people come here specifically to go out on the water and just be a part of all of that experience, that breathtaking experience you had on your first visit here?
Well, the news about sailing here has spread to Europe.
Okay.
And people are coming, and a lot more frequently than they used to, because of this incredible beauty. And they go back and they tell their friends over there. And all I can say is that we are in such a fantastic area that it sells itself.
We'll take a quick break here. We're talking boating, finally, on BoomerLife. Our guests from BoatingBC, it's President Don Prittie and Director Ian MacPherson from the island, both of them. Lots more straight ahead. Stay with us. This is BoomerLife on AM 650.
Canada's only weekly radio show dedicated to the baby boomer lifestyle. This is BoomerLife
on AM 650.